Thank you for joining me, Aina Kweyo, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in today's broadcast, all systems go for Geingob's final farewell. City's prepaid meter headache. The Katutura State Hospital is home to small children who have been neglected by their parents. You can follow all our programs on our website, which is called oneupto.com or DSTV 285 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. To honor the late Dr. Geingob, a former president of Namibia, citizens have congregated on the Independence Avenue to offer their final condolences to the late Dr. Geingob. Cabinet ministers also made their way to Independence Avenue. After the break, we return with visual news. Stay with us.
On behalf of the National Road Safety Council and all stakeholders in the road safety subsector, I extend our deepest and heartfelt condolences to the former First Lady, Madam Geingob, the bereaved family, the relatives, friends, and the entire Namibian nation on the sudden passing of our beloved President, His Excellency Dr. Hage Gottfried Geingob. His leadership, resilience, and firm belief in systems, institutions, and processes will forever be kept and cherished in our hearts, as well as his belief in unity, inclusivity, and equality. I, on behalf of the National Road Safety Council and all stakeholders in the road safety subsector, join the rest of the nation in mourning the passing of our distinguished leader. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
President of the Namibia Agriculture Union, Tinus Pretorius, gives his tribute message at the Agriculture Sector Memorial, which was held in Redfontaine. Have a look.
Director of Ceremonies, bereaved Geingob family, follow mourning Namibians. Today we pay tribute to the late President Hage G. Geingob, the man who came back from exile to a very divided and hostile Namibia in 1989 and succeeded in creating an environment of calm and tranquility and peace. As a deeply divided pack of politicians and legislators sat down to constitute the roadmap for the road ahead, the nation held its breath. Under his leadership, a model was created that relieved much of this tension. A constitution that we all can relate to and live with. A constitution that formed the foundation on which we started building the Namibian house. He went on in the spirit of reconciliation, guiding the nation to a path of peace and respect for each other, irrespective of our diverse, where we come from. He taught us to think inclusive rather than exclusive, to talk rather than to fight. His famous words was to leave nobody behind. In my book, that was the ultimate diplomat. On behalf of the NAU and its members, I would like to extend my deepest sympathy to the family and the nation at large. The smooth transition of his departure pay homage to him and his legacy. Rus in vrede, grote. Kaise ko ire. Kaise ko sari. Rest in peace.
Enosi Christian Church's Pastor Joseph Nduba pays tribute to late President Hage Geingob at the regional memorial service held at Rundu Sports Stadium. Nikano Nangolo reports.
He was not just a national leader, but also an African content leader, believed in the liberation and prosperity of Africa. In the relation to the church, this was a man of faith, a member of the inner city of Lutheran Church, which is part of the Council of Churches in Namibia. He did express his faith and belief in God publicly. He engaged the church community and the council of churches in the various matters pertaining to the social welfare of the nation and the Namibian people. May the nation and the youth eminent his servanthood leadership staff. He was the voice of the poor, the vulnerable and elderly people. He believed in the inclusiveness of his theme, that is, in Namibian house, nobody should feel left out.
After the break, we return with newspaper review. Stay with us.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The Act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
The Namibian Sun reports that the Namibia Airports Company is scrambling to get its house in order ahead of a critical international civil aviation organization audit scheduled for next month, which will determine whether the country's airports meet global aviation safety standards. Namibian Sun understands stakeholders in the public aviation industry are running rage to ensure the recommendations emanating from the devastating 2014 audit, which at the time resulted in the Hosea Kutako International Airport being downgraded, are implemented. On page 3, the city of Windhoek has accused uncooperative residents of delaying the finalization of a project to roll out prepaid electricity meter to households across the capital. Spokesperson Lydia Amtenya told Namibian Sun that Windhoek's growing refusal to allow municipal employees to work on prepaid meters is concerning. The city has undertaken an initiative to update existing prepaid meters software all around the capital, but said it is concerned about the speed at which the exercise is moving, she said. On the front page of Republican, Namibians who will this weekend pay their last respect to late President Hage Geingob at Independence Stadium and have an internet connection. Thanks to Telecom Namibia and MTC, who made it possible for Namibians, they can now share their footage with family and friends nationwide and worldwide. On page 3, Namibia is currently busy with the preparation for the late President Geingob's memorial, as well as his funeral service for the next 3 days. A march is being held today in Windhoek to give Namibians the chance to pay their last respect. On its front page, the Katutura State Hospital is a home to several small children who have been severely neglected by their parents. But even there, they live in the most precarious of circumstances, according to an informed source who also sent photos of some of the babies to Republican. Some of these babies have been in the nursery for 9 months. Some of the photos show dirty clothes that the babies have probably been wearing for 4 days or more. The beds are full of food and dirt. You can hardly be near the babies because they stink so badly of urine, said a source. On page 2 of the Allgemeine Zeitung, it is attending to education, which is one of the major challenges on the African continent. This is also what citizens say in the recent Afrobarometer survey in Namibia. 16% of the population see education as a priority social problem. 13% stated that they had to pay bribes to receive the required services at public schools. On average, more than 37% of adults in Africa have secondary education, 18% have post-secondary education, 27% have primary education, and 18% have no formal education. After the break, we return with more newspaper reviews, starting with the Namibian. Stay with us.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
The Namibian reports that 2 weeks before President Geingob took his last breath, one of his political critics visited him on his sickbed and gave him a long hug. The visit was both emotional and jovial, a look back at how far the two men have come. For a moment, Bernard Swartboy, the leader of Landless People's Movement, had forgotten this was the same Geingob whom he had a heated argument with in Parliament in 2020. That afternoon, the late president famously scolded him, "I am older than your mother. Address me properly." Moving over to our next story on page 3, the body of President Geingob will lie in a state at Parliament Garden for viewing by the public today from 4:30 p.m. through the night until tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. This was announced by Defense Force Brigadier General Rehabiam Kalimba yesterday. On page 2, the New Era reports that on Sunday, the 25th of February, thousands of mourners at home and from around the world will swamp Heroes Acre to bid their final farewell to Namibia's third democratically elected president, the late Geingob. The burial ceremony will see the life and time of Geingob finally coming to full circle and will mark an end to the journey of a dedicated diplomat, unparalleled public servant, political strategist of note, and Namibia's very own son of the soil, who died at the age of 82 on the 4th of February in Windhoek. On page 8, President Hage Geingob's first son, Mangaliso Geingob, says Namibia has a bright future because of selfless people like his late father. Now, Mangaliso, who is based in the United States of America, also said the spirit of his father, who died 2 weeks ago, will live on among Namibians, remembering his father during a memorial service held in Windhoek on Tuesday. Mangaliso said his father had a vision for the future, and that is up to Namibians to realize his dream. The Market Watch reports that Namdeb Holding produced 2.3 million carats of diamonds last year, 190,000 carats, or nearly 8.9% more than in 2022. The increase in production was primarily driven by a full year of production from the Benguela gem vessel commissioned in March 2022 and the ongoing ramp-up and expansion of the mining area at the land operation, Anglo American said yesterday. Anglo is the holding company of De Beers, which is half, of Namdeb Holding. The remaining 50% of Namdeb belongs to the Namibian government. After the break, we return with economic news. Stay with us.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In economic news this afternoon, B2 Gold Corp is committed around 1.1 billion to bolster the infrastructure of its Oshikoto mine for the 2023 financial year. B2 Gold President and Chief Executive Officer Clive Johnson said the company's capital expenditure for 2023 total 1.1 billion, with the lion's share 891 million Namibian dollars devoted to deferred stripping of the Ochikoto pit. He added that the Wolfshag underground development received 190 million Namibian dollars, while 37 million Namibian dollars was set aside for mobile equipment rebuilds. During the fourth quarter of 2023, B2 Gold allocated 15 million US dollars to capital expenditure. Of this, 10 million US dollar was specifically allocated to deferred stripping for the Ochikoto pit, with an additional 3 million US dollars designated for Wolfshag underground development, Johnson noted. We return with news from our beautiful African continent shortly after the break. Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has pardoned 51 prisoners who had been jailed for committing violence and crimes against state security during the country's 2010 post-electoral crisis. This West African country was plunged into violence after incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo refused to cede power to Ouattara, whom the electoral body had declared the winner of a disputed runoff poll. During the crisis that lasted from November 2010 to April 2011, more than 3,000 people were killed and over 150 women were sexually abused, a report by Human Rights Watch said. The gesture of pardoning the offender is part of President Ouattara's commitment to work resolutely to consolidate peace, the AFP news agency reported, citing an official statement. We return with international news shortly. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has presented a day-after plan for Gaza's his first official proposal for when the war in the Hamas-run Palestinian territory ends. According to the document presented to members of the Israel Security Cabinet on Thursday and seen by Reuters on Friday, Israel would maintain security control over all land west of Jordan, including the occupied West Bank and Gaza territories, where the Palestinians want to create an independent state. In Gaza, Netanyahu outlined demilitarization and de-radicalization as goals to be achieved in the medium term. He does not elaborate on when the intermediary stage would begin or how long it would last. Shortly, we return with local sports. Namibian twin footballers Adine and Aren Klassen moved to South Africa last month to attend grade 10 and pursue their football careers at Jackson Sports High School in Pretoria. The 15-year-old siblings joined the renowned Tuks Sports Football Academy following their impressive performance during the week-long football trials. Their father, Angus Klassen, described the process of selection as very challenging. The remaining week of the Deb Marine Namibia Premier League are expected to dish up a thrilling and nerve-wracking finish to the 2023-2024 season. Commerce Nampol FC, Africa's African Star, and Ongos FC have been in the three-horse race at the top of the table from the start, all taking turns at the top and still within striking distance. As the Namibian Football Association gears up for a much-anticipated return of the NFA Cup, Interim Secretary General Joshen Trout has made a bold declaration that it's time to treat women's football with fairness that it deserves. The decision taken by the local governing body on Wednesday to include women in this year's NFA Cup marks a significant departure from tradition. Shortly, we take a look at international sports news. Amazulu coach Pablo Franco was delighted with a return to winning ways for his side as they edged Royal AM 1-0 on Thursday to advance to the second round of the Nedbank Cup. Ireland are in a very good place as they pursue unprecedented back-to-back Six-Nation Grand Slams and should move a step closer with victory over Wales on Saturday, former Irish fullback Hugo McNeil told AFP. Following the successful conclusion of the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire, this week marks an exciting return to CAF inter-club action as the Total Energy CAF Champion League resumes today. If you are just joining us, we will return with the highlights from today's broadcast right here on NMH at 1.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Ivory Coast President Ouattara has pardoned 51 prisoners who had been jailed for committing violence and crimes against state security during the country's 2010 post-electoral crisis. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has presented a day after plan for Gaza, his first official proposal for when the war in the Hamas-run Palestinian territory ends. As the Namibian Football Association gears up for the much-anticipated return of the NFA Cup, Interim Secretary General Master Trout has made a bold declaration that it's time to treat women's football with the fairness it deserves. And those have been our highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia. But before we leave, stay tuned as we will be switching over to the procession of the late President Hage Geingob, currently taking place throughout Windhoek. Good afternoon.